3. I'm always looking forward to these. It was equally fun to be on the halftime report today and to get to discuss with Josh and Stephen Weiss and Scott Wapner and Kate Moore as well. We had a good discussion about what was going on in the markets and why. And now markets have made a little bit of a comeback. So with that, let's get to this, the 3 at 3. So, as you guys know, each day that I deliver 3 at 3, I'm letting you know what the unusual activity is. Unusual activity defined as block trading on the offer. That's what I'm looking for. Blocks of calls bought on the offer. Do I care about a whole bunch of little trades? No, I don't. I care about big trades, and I want them to be over and over again on the offer, whether it's call, which would be bullish, or whether it's a put, which would be bearish. Shall we, folks? MarketRebellion.com/UOA. You can learn all about it. That's MarketRebellion.com/UOA for unusual option activity. You can also check out Get Started right now. All right. As far as the disclaimer, everything that I provide for you here is for education and informational purposes only. Let's talk about XNGA, shall we? So, as you see, 2 separate hits today. First one, let me see, there was another one. Bang. Says CNBC, stocks rally off the lows, S&P 500 turns positive, Trump's China actions keep trade deal intact. Just so you know. All right, so early on, just in the first few minutes of trading, we see 8,000 July 8 calls trade for about 80 cents. Then, about an hour and a half later, we see another big trade, 23,000 July 9 calls. So first they're buying the 8s with the stock at 845, so that's a stock surrogate. It's going to move like the stock. Then we see them buying out of the money calls an hour and a half later, and they buy a big chunk, 23,000. Yeah, that's a big chunk, folks. So whenever we see big chunks of stocks, big chunks of options being bought, we want to cite it for you. We want to put it up on our blog. Again, this is XNGA, and I'm just checking out my unusual activity here. Whoops, sorry. Rotated to the wrong one. Sorry, let me get back. XNGA, Z-N-G-A. This happens when I'm hitting NGA. So they were buying these, and they've driven the stock up to $8.93 right now. It's touched $9 briefly a couple times today. So they were first buying those July, regular July expiration, because otherwise we tell you the date, regular July expiration 8 calls. And as you saw, they were buying those for 80 cents, let's say. Right now, those are $1.28. They've been as high as $1.36 already. So you're roughly up, let's say 50 cents on an 80-cent trade, and every option's for 100 shares. So that means you are up strong in here and doing pretty well. I like the action, definitely so. Let's see, where is this? Again, I'm screwing myself up, folks, because I got too many mice. Because instead of having my nice office, let's see, where am I here? Let me pop this one up. All right, let's see, is that right? Yeah, it looks like it. Okay. So there's our XNGA trade. Those calls have already worked in our favor, and look at the stock spiking here. All right, second trade. Let's take a look at Uber, shall we? Uber, we had 2 hits today as well, so it's all about 2s so far today. Uber Technologies, they came in and they bought first. Within the first half hour of trade, they were buying the June 5 expiration calls at the 35 strike. So right at the money. You're buying an at the money call, folks, that's going to roughly move at 50 cents for every dollar the underlying stock moves. Is it a leveraged bet? Of sorts, yeah. And somebody's telling me they think something happens between now and next Friday because that's the 5th of June. And then the second one that I briefly mentioned on the halftime report when we were doing our final trade segment was June 37 calls. So this is regular expiration. So they wanted more time. They bought more, a big chunk more of these, and they bought the 37 strike, which clearly, with the stock at $34.98 at the time, they were buying basically $2 out of the money calls and paying $104 to $117 per option. Again, every option's for 100 shares of stock. So how did that one work out? Well, let's see. Uber Technologies, 35.31, not bad. How did those regular June 37s, the second ones that we cited, how did the regular June 37s, which is June 19th, by the way, expiration, those June 37s moved on up to, looks like about $1.45 just a little bit ago. Not bad. So that's the second of our 3 at 3, Uber Technologies. And some of the news around this one is that, you know, they're negotiating with Grubhub to buy them. If they have to walk away, they will. And that, my friends, is one of the things that Grubhub wanted, was a big penalty if you do walk away, if we don't do a deal. And I don't know if Uber really wants to put that much money on the table in case they can't strike a deal. We'll see. In any case, we have a short-term trade and a slightly longer-term trade in Uber. Let's get on to the next one, shall we? FEYE. This was my final trade today. FEYE. Why? Because when we were on the halftime report, I noticed that they were buying FEYE calls. It showed up on our heat seeker, which is our algorithm that looks for that unusual option activity. And as they bought these, they were buying, again, very short time frame, June 5th, which is next Friday, expiration. They were buying the 12 calls. So basically, let's call it at the money. I'm not really going to reach and call it out of the money. They're buying an at the money call. And they think something happens fast because they're buying an option with only 5 trading days left in its life after today. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 5 days. So the bits of information contained are they think news is going to hit that lifts this stock quickly. They want at the money calls, and they were paying 27 cents to 55 cents. In other words, whoever got in at 27 has already doubled their money today. Now, that wasn't me. I didn't double my money on that trade yet, but I did pay 35 cents for these calls. I am in FEYE yet again. Where is the stock now? Well, let's see. It's not at the high of the day, but it's still higher than it was because it was 11.72. Now it's 12.34, so it's rallied 50 cents. And those options that they purchased, that I purchased for 35 cents, how are they doing? Well, let me tell you. Those options are, whoops, wrong mouse, FEYE, FEYE. And it's the June 5th expiration calls, options, June 5th expiration. Where have they moved to? So yeah, I'm confirming my trade that I got these calls, those 12 calls, and they've already moved up from 35 cents to 80 cents. Now, I wish I could tell you that I took half off on the double, but I didn't. I was doing some other work, so I missed it. But nonetheless, what my discipline would have been, folks, is I would have taken off half. If I was paying attention, I would have taken off half because that's what I do. Option doubles, take off half. Let the rest ride. If it pulls back too much, I let them all go. Right now, those calls are indeed still trading 60 cents. So 64 cent offered. So I'm still up on them, almost 30 cents. But if they go back through 70 here in the final hour, I'll probably lighten up on up to half of them. So with that said, folks, that's what we do every day. Now, we have some great guests on our podcasts. I encourage you to join us for those. One of those upcoming will be Kevin O'Leary, That's right, Mr. Wonderful himself will be joining us on June 15th. Mr. Wonderful, Pete and I are looking forward to having you on with us, sir. In the meantime, if you'd like to see more about marketrebellion.com/UOA, that'll let you know what we're doing in terms of trading. And if you'd like to learn to trade options, then come on in and check out marketrebellion.com/get started. And we can get you started managing risk, enhancing returns, making more money on your good trades, and losing less money on your bad trades. Because we all have both good and bad trades. I try to highlight the good trades for you here because I think I'm decent at marketing. That's why. But I'll tell you about the losers too. And I did today on the halftime report, by the way. Told you about Alibaba. Wish I could have pulled the trigger on that one up north of 220, but instead I was puking it out at 210. That's how it goes. Cookie crumbles. You got to take the good with the bad, but I always cut my losses, move on, and let the winners run. I hope you have a winning weekend and that you let the winners run. And I'll see you right back here next week on Market Rebellion. Thank you for joining me, folks.